What is up, guys? Welcome back to From the Deck, and today it's a new video. Today we are going to talk about access integration and how to work with your data and how to protect it. This video is not sponsored. Okay, so later on I've been playing a lot of access code talker, access integration, Cyberse shenanigans, and let me tell you, it's really fun. Actually, it's a really good deck if you have the perfect way to build it and play it. The best thing of it is not linear. So what does this mean? That you can basically construct your own combo independent on what you have in hand if you know how to play the deck, basically. Also, you can adapt to the situations even if you have low resources or if your opponent tries to stop you a lot. So this deck is actually very good for situations where the combos, if they don't have an alternative, they just don't work. This deck actually works if the first combo doesn't work. You can try the second one and the third one and the fourth one. While the full point is filling your graveyard with Cyberse link monsters with different attributes so that access code talker can blow up your opponent's field. Without further ado, let's just jump into the replays. You know we're going to do this style. First and foremost, we have a replay against Vanish, and because I'm not a sore loser, I will show you my full replays, wins and losses. I have deleted some wins and some losses because they're kinda redundant, so I just chosen one. Here, getting inhibited is actually pretty good, because in this situation I can just pass on that. I didn't count on my opponent drawing into Harpy's Featherduster, that's the real problem here. Losing to one limited card in 60 cards is very rough, not gonna lie. With Extrude attacking twice is basically much game. Now we're going to go to the next one, where we actually win. We're going to play against Black Wings. Now Black Wings actually are very good if they have the right hand. They can make full armor master and etc. But our opponent wants to go into PK combos for some reason, I don't know. So double Fogblade is kinda nasty in some situations. I could try to play here, going to the Code Talker, but our opponent is going to Ash because our opponent has all the answers. We're going to take the PK because the PK is funny. One thing that I have found with this deck is that it doesn't matter, like in these situations, if you have 2 or 3 normal summons, those normal summons are actually really good, even if they are negated with something like the Fogblade or Ash Blossom or whatever. They can actually generate a lot of resources. Here our opponent normal summons Ash. I don't know why, I don't know what was the point. I think he was going for a Synchro 7, but we are going to win the game after we Book of Moon. Then of course we are going to take on the 2016 World Champion deck, Blue Eyes White to Dragon, and we're going to take it down with Cyberse. As you're going to see right now, you only need like one good monster. Even if you don't activate the spells right away, you're going to get a lot of advantage. And let me tell you, the Signet spells you only play 1 or 2 copies at most, because they're searchable, with the Code Talker. Not the Code Talker, the Code Talker monster. It can actually give you a search for a Signet spell, and the best one is probably the one that keeps giving you resources to your hand, even if you don't have a way to summon them because you have Splash Mage and Code Talker inverted to deal with that situations. The other Signet is very good because it gives you an extra normal summon that can easily take out certain difficult situations. The full point of this is just making access code talker with the biggest number possible and the highest stats, and if possible with 2 attacks just because. Now Shadows are a really tough situation because they have really good bosses like Construct and Windan, etc. So the Windan lock is actually really annoying for some of the code talkers to play through. But if you have the right cards, that's actually what I was looking for in this deck. You can actually take out the Winda without any trouble. In this case, Crackdown is very good to take out the Winda basically. Mekaba is going to negate, but Mekaba is hard with negating, so it doesn't really matter. Another type of situation with this deck is that if you mill a monster, if you mill a Cyberse monster, it's actually really good because some of them can recur in the graveyard. And they have some certain situations where you just summon a monster from the graveyard for free and just going to access code talker with 3 link monsters in the graveyard with different attributes. Next up we have a duel against full despots. This is a very wise person because despots actually can generate a lot of advantage going first. Unfortunately, he or she didn't generate a lot of advantage because tuner monsters and synchro monsters and things that probably doesn't play, that's the trouble. As you're going to see here, Foremost Keeper is probably one of the best cards searching Parallel Exit. Going into Code Talker, it can give you a lot of chains that can actually give you a lot of free ton monsters just to bomb it out of your deck, basically. I'm not playing Silent Mining. This is probably something you may want to change if you actually build this deck. But I'm not playing it because discarding is something that you may not want to do on this deck. You will end with cards in your hand for sure if the combo resolves. But if your combo is stopped at a certain point by certain situations, if they just your combo, you are going to end with like 1 or 2 cards in hand, and Silent Mining is not going to help a lot with your hand situation. So by my count, I'm not playing Silent Mining, but you may find it more useful. The best part of this type of decks is that IP Mask Arena is also Cyberse, which gives extra protection to your access code talkers or whatever code talker you are summoning to actually attack your opponent. Finally, here we have a hand where I don't have any Cyberse monsters, but we will get through that. This is basically Monarchs. Monarchs have difficult situations dealing with 1 negate, so here Orban is going to negate the Lady debuff, but we are going to get into our access code talker without any trouble, because again, the Cyberse monsters are really cool. The only problem is that they lock you into Cyberse. That's the real trouble here. But in my opinion, Cyberse going second with the right hands and the right cards, the right deck building can actually get you free resources and a free game basically. And the most expensive cards are actually probably the impermanences and the access code talkers, which you can change the impermanences for something like Valor, and you can change the code talkers, just play one and play one access integrated or access code talker, whatever the name it is, something that gives you another way of dealing more damage basically. But with the replays out of the way, let's just look at the deck profile. The deck, as I said, is just 40 cards, because 40 cards in this case are really good instead of the regular 60 that I'm trying to build this year. 40 cards gives you more consistency in this deck without playing expensive cards like Silent Mining and playing a ton of hand traps, and actually gives you free resources basically for playing the least number of cards in the deck. You may see a lot of normal summons here with the 3 Foremost Creeper, 3 Lady Debuff and the 3 Gadget, but because Signet Optimization gives you 1 extra normal summon, it doesn't really matter that much really. And if so, it doesn't matter also because you can special summon them with Code Talker inverted from your hand or Splash Mage from the graveyard, and you have different stuff to special summon them. So it's just flow. It just flows with your hand. It's really, really good. I'm playing one of each attribute. For the access Code Talker, we have the Transcode that is Earth, Update Jammer that is Wind, Code Talker that is Dark, Inverted that is Light, Splash Mage is Water, Security Dragon is Light, Masquerade is Dark, Link Spider is Earth, Link Kuribo is Dark, and the Salamangreats are Fire, 2 Almirage and 1 Belenix, which Belenix is really useful because you can take out the Lady Debuff, and that's the only Link one that you can use for Lady Debuff. So it's actually really useful and really good. And it puts a fire in the graveyard, which is the end goal, to summon just the Code Talker extended, or access Code Talker, sorry, in this case, and just blow your opponent's field. Well guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I want to thank you very much for watching and spending your time with me. And remember, I'm starting a new series next week, so be ready for that, and we see on the next one. Adios.